Howdy, 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 my name is Anachi Sasuke, and welcome back to Prequel! I can tell you right now, it was not supposed to be this long between episodes of Prequel, and the reason for that is, I meant to do some Prequel during August, and then didn't because August decided, hey, guess what, it's going to be 100 degrees for like 2 weeks! So, there were a lot less videos in August than there were supposed to be, and there was supposed to be Prequel at least once, and then it didn't happen, so... In the last episode, I think there was the nightmare about the king that was completely not a king, and I don't understand why that's what she thinks kings are, but that is not what kings are. So, Arf wrote, Katia, acknowledge your acrobatics issue and make a mental note that that after your trip to Kavash, Quillweave should teach you some. It's not an issue, it's just something you're not so good at. Nothing says that your kind has to be good at jumping, or more specifically landing. It doesn't really matter anyway. I mean, it's not like you're going to be jumping from great heights on a regular basis or anything. That would be silly. Boop, boop. Barberman wrote, Jakajit, you say good morrow to that Sifim right this second. Okay, no need to get all Kajiti about it. You're actually looking forward to seeing him again. You limp over to the soldier and excitedly greet him. You hope you're not late? You explain that you tried to get over here as quickly as possible, but you hurt your leg and that slowed you down a little bit, and also you had to make a detour by an outhouse, but you couldn't find the outhouse, so you just ended up using someone's flower box, which you understand is exactly okay, and I also don't believe I caught your name, Mr. Imperial Legionnaire. The soldier says he is merely a soldier of the Imperial Legion, a single piece of the noble fighting force that upholds righteousness, and defends the glorious empire for the good and safety of citizens such as yourself. And don't worry about being late, he says you're actually a bit early. Epoxy wrote, mentioned to Acetil that you could really use a potion of undoing minor injury or something. Does he have one that he could lend, sell, trade you? If not, could you stop at a potion shop where he could buy one and then lend, sell, trade it to you? Oh, you say cool. In that case, you would happen to know where I could get a tiny healing potion or something, would you? Like, just a sip? I jumped out a window on my way here, accidentally. Asotil, as you have started calling him in your head, raises an eyebrow. Potions? Surely a novice mage such as yourself knows a healing spell for occasions such as this? You confess that you don't actually know any spells yet. You apparently just have some kind of aptitude for magic, but you haven't found someone to teach you how to focus it. Until you can afford some training, you're really a pretty crappy excuse for a wizard. Asatil puts a heavy, armored hand on your shoulder. Citizen, do you know how I became strong enough to serve in the Imperial Legion? One of the most selective and skilled combat forces in all of Cyrodiil. How? Drugs. But also practice. And after I joined the Legion, mostly practice. I didn't get where I was today by waiting around for some so-called expert to tell me all the secrets. No. I learned my lessons one decapitated Minotaur at a time. And that's how you will learn. By killing. Astatil walks past you and approaches a rock. We've got some time, citizen. What's your magic thing? You must be able to do something or you wouldn't be wearing a robe and carrying a staff. You reply that you set stuff on fire with your mind? You're not really very good at controlling it, though. These are your enemies. These fruits have wronged you, murdered your family, and committed atrocities against innocent civilians. Like all criminals, they are now target practice. This is a deadly poisoned apple, taken from the corpse of a Dark Brotherhood assassin himself. The poison apple's their boss. He's also target practice, but is worth more. At least I'm pretty sure that's the poison one. Yep, it must be. Alright, wizard, let's see you learn something. Go stand 100 feet away and light these up. You're not really sure if you can do the fire thing long range, you say. Says try anyway. The two of you have exactly 16 minutes to kill before setting off for Kavash, which is plenty of time for killing criminals. Even fictional criminals that are actually just apples. Fake Imposter wrote, take off your amulet, Katia! Well then. You wanted some practice? Let's see what you can do. Did the practice need the bad cat puns? Donald wrote, I'm just wondering why you would rip off the necklace as opposed to just taking it off calmly without snapping the chain. You didn't break the chain. The necklace has a drama clasp. It's a special kind of clasp that comes undone when you dramatically yank on it. Used to have some outfits that incorporated them. You'd rather not go into any details on that. Right now, it's time for magic. Freda M. Slotiker wrote, your job is to focus on the fire and learn how to create it without the cat puns. The final Wraith wrote, I'm trying to figure out what your mindset should be, Katia, and I think I figured it out. Remember that feeling you had when you prayed at the altar of the Nine? That heartfelt, earnest, hopefulness. If possible, I want you to try and rekindle that feeling. Though instead of directing it outwards towards the Aedra, direct it inwards to ignite the magic that dwells within your soul. And if anything, the fact that you've never done this before is a good thing, because it means something you've never failed at. That Khajiit girl in Hammerfell was empty inside, but now you're full of magicka. You can do something that girl never could. Something you can only do as Katia Mannequin. So don't be afraid. Don't be held back by self-doubt and self-loathing. Just close your eyes. Take a deep breath and fan the flames that burn in your heart. You're going to approach this proper, like a wizard. You close your eyes and clear your mind, reaching deep within your soul for that spark of magic. You can't feel it, but you know it's there. You've seen it with your own eyes. Or at least its effects. You have a fire in you, begging for release. For the first time in your life, something you've always wanted is within your grasp! Something they said you could never do. It's time for you to be the mage you always knew you were. Green Frog wrote, take a deep breath in, still your thoughts and worries, breathe out. Ribbit. There's nothing else in the world but you and the apple. No grass, no sky, no rock, no acetyl, no Kavach, no Khajiit slut back in Hammerfell, and no king. Just Katia Mannequin and one criminal apple. Breathe in. Feel the magicka in your blood and the fire in your heart, Ribbit. Grip your determination to make yourself better and the knowledge that you're a mage. Breathe out. That looks cool. Yes! You feel the magicka floating through the air around you, flowing through your veins, twisting through your fingers. It's a part of you now. It's what makes you more than just a trashy homeless Khajiit. You just have to focus it. Concentrate on the apples. They're right in front of you. You imagine the energies converging before you into a fiery inferno. Clinging to that mental image, you channel all your hope and energy into the thoughts of flame and open your eyes. And managed to accomplish absolutely nothing other than look incredibly silly. I mean, you weren't expecting to master this on your first try, but you were hoping you'd at least do something? Especially after believing in yourself that hard. You even clicked your dark vision on and off for effect. Oh, looks like it's time for plan B. Think up horrific, emotionally distressing, racist cat burns to see if you can control the fires they start. Mr. Jack wrote, there's no clause for alarm, the cat is out of the bag. Plagorath wrote, anything so fire sure looks appealing. Doppel the Ganger wrote, Katia, you are a catalyst for a pure fiery power, but don't let your head get too hot with power, or you might cause a catastrophe and ruin the perfect chance to get a teammate. Metal Flare wrote, cast a spell that could make an archmage catatonic. You better hope this isn't a catastrophe. I hope you're feeling feline. Hopefully we'll give this man a catcushion. These aren't even burns! They're just horrible, horrible puns. In fact, most of these just involve the word catastrophe with the first syllable emphasized. You hate yourself a little bit for even coming up with them. You're at your brief for something workable. This could take a while. Tal wrote, Acetyl, ponder why you were carrying around items from the Dark Brotherhood this early in the morning. You are now the Imperial Legion soldier. You have had a very busy night. Crime never sleeps, and therefore neither can an Imperial Legion patrolman. Instead of sleep, you just simply blink more often. On your late-night patrol route around the city, you spotted a man in full Dark Brotherhood regalia stalking around with what was no doubt incredibly dark motives. As for your duty as a soldier of the Imperial Legion, you apprehended the criminal before he could do harm to any of the just and noble citizens who populate this fine country. Afterwards, a full report of your actions was delivered to the proper authorities. Vici wrote, you are Katia fucking Mannequin, and those apples are going down. You're now Katia fucking Mannequin again. And for the first time in your life, you've actually been trying to come up with hurtful cat burns. You think you've almost got something workable now? It's not great. But you can kind of feel it twanging at your heartstrings. Hopefully it'll do the trick. You concentrate on the apples. Apples, fire. Apples, fire. Apples, fire. Let's go. Healy wrote, you need to figure out how deeply you need to be scratched to make use of the sick burn. So get the nip out from your nostrils and make those damn apples your new scratching posts instead of thinking of new positions to laze about in sunbeams. Well, that half worked. That still puts out your fire before it can do any horrific unintended damages. You apologize for the mistake, but he says not to worry, citizen. The fire was apprehended before it could commit any heinous crimes. Mistakes are just part of learning. You didn't become an expert at bandit extermination without accidentally offing a few farmers, for instance. Oh, you say? Makes sense. So, it looks like you got the basics of fire making down. You just need to figure out some way to direct it. Passing by wrote, Katia, for no reason whatsoever, check for no reason whatsoever if you still have the lockpick. Doom Kiwi wrote, also her lockpick is at a secret location, it seems. Yes, you still have your lockpick. You've been keeping it in your backpack. Brickman wrote, Katia, you do not have the basics of fire making down. Real wizards do not cast magic by thinking of new clever plays on words every time they see a goblin. They do something like this for long enough to get noticed and prove they have magic. Arranged It's a weird way to spell arrange. To be taught the basics of proper magic, and either train, study, or bolt to improve from there. You aren't going to master this on your own. All you can hope for is to become just good enough that someone better than you decides you're worth helping. The final Wraith wrote, you should ask the soldier for advice. You decide to ask Acetil if he has any advice. Surely he's known some Imperial wizards during his time in the Legion, or has fought evil wizards while on patrol. You're just feeling like this is kind of hopeless, you explain. You have no idea what you're actually supposed to be doing to control the fire. Maybe it would be best if you waited until you found a real wizard who was willing to train you? Acetil encourages you to simply keep trying. You are already a real wizard, he says, and the only way you'll get any better is by wizarding. You have nothing to lose by trying. Worst case scenario, you miscast a spell and die horribly in a giant ball of fire. But then you'll be dead, so you won't care. It's a win-win situation. That doesn't sound like a win-win, you say, but thank Acetil for his help nonetheless. You guess you'll just keep trying and hope you learn something. Alright then, if he's not going to let you throw in the towel, it's time to start experimenting with this. Experiment 1. Let's try out some apple burns and see if that makes the apples burn. Iron Saber 48649 wrote, Katia, those fruits are rotten. You gotta incinerate them. Make those crabby apples burn. Phantom Charlatan wrote, here, you want to burn apples, not cats, so you can try apple puns and make these impudent fruits crumble before your devastating power. Why are these links? I guess they're links to what that is? Okay, first let's do that. That looks wrong. Let's do the other one. New window! To the wall. That also looks kind of wrong. Neither one of those things look like they're edible. Anyway, you concentrate on the apples and think of the best apple insult you can muster, or perhaps you should say the best apple insult you can custard. Like, apple custard? Gods, you are terrible at this. The apples apparently think so too and impudently refuse to burst into flame. In fact, nothing bursts into flame. That narrows it down a bit. The magic seems to only happen when you get offended. You must be accessing it based on your own emotions. Of course, that still leaves you with no way to direct the magic. It's time for experiment number 2. Mr. Awesomeness wrote, Katia, pick the staff up, point it at the apples, and try again. The staff looks like it could have directed the shot towards the wall, although you only just got it. Contemptible Comedian wrote, start swinging your arms incessantly in the direction of those apples and get mad. Liquid Dinosaur wrote, raise your hands up higher. Like Hannibal and the woman at the Mages Guild were. It's like the mage equivalent of holding out your pinky to be fancy. Homeless Dude wrote, use your tail, it will channel magic perfectly. Tahunted wrote, pretend those apples are dumb gay elves. Actually, go ahead and pretend that those apples, the very ones in front of you, are the cause of all the failure and misery in your life. Once you incinerate those apples, you'll never drunkenly do your pineapple and YOLO trick again. You might even grow a beard. Niall wrote, imagine the apples are insulting you. They're saying things like, I heard you designed your own dress. Must have been hard when I had opposable thumbs. Actually, kind of looks like it was designed by someone who lacked opposable thumbs, so does your race have a soul? Because I heard that animals don't have souls. That wall was nowhere near your target. It's okay, I understand. I know felines don't have depth perception. You're pathetic. You couldn't find a mouse if it got dared by its friends to go up and bite you on the toe. Pfft, that was awful. I nearly feel sorry for you. But you've consumed enough cider to keep a brewery in business for 3 years, so I guess I'm just impressed you can stand right now. You try every idea at once. One of them has to work. Or not. The apples remain unburned as always. This is starting to get a little discouraging. Maybe this really is just a huge waste of time. Apathy wrote, what you need to do is focus on your area of influence. You've set stuff on fire without even thinking about magic, but you've never tried to think about something outside of the scene directly around you at the same time. Bibliophile wrote, Katia, concentrate. Think not of the fire for a moment. Pause, reflect, consider, understand the flow of magicka that is essential to your being. Other commands. Do not believe that this task is to be above you. Do not believe that you cannot understand these forces. It is your magicka. It's your power. It's yours. You will find that it is more familiar to your mind than the back of your hand. Raise one arm. Feel how this movement diverts the flow. Flex your claws. Feel how this motion inscribes a net of power. Take a moment to determine how you may direct this flow and deploy this net in a bolt of energy. Concentrate! To cast a spell, one must focus one's imagination and willpower on transmuting their natural magic into something elemental. Your imagination and willpower, though they are the keys. You have demonstrated admirable quantities of both in recent times. Think of the stream of magicka you have at your command. Think of fire itself. Now, you will gather a ball of magic in your fist. It will be easier than opening your eyes. You will ignite this ethereal ball. It will be simpler than falling asleep. You will project this bolt of elemental fire towards the target, so it will be more natural than breathing. Well, it's one thing you haven't tried. All this time you've been focusing on the apples, trying to start a fire on top of them. But when you talked to the wizard at the Mages Guild, he implied the magic was inside you. When you're trying to start fires far away from you, you probably don't have much control over it, but if you tried to start it a little closer, you close your eyes and concentrate. There's magic inside of you, you say to yourself. You imagine it flowing around you, through your veins, up your arms. You cup your hands and picture yourself to be holding a big glob of it. You wait there a moment, calmly focusing on that ball of invisible energy that's hopefully between your hands. You imagine it as vividly as you can, until you can practically feel its weight, and once you feel confident that it is really, truly there, you think to yourself, fire! Yeah, nothing happens. You keep concentrating on the hypothetical ball of magic in between your hands and continue on to plan B. Red Pharaoh wrote, "There's no hope for you. You should tail it back to Coolbees and hide in a basket of yarn. At least there it can help you feel catter." Catter? Holy fuck, shit, your hand is on fire and it really burns! Fuck, 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 fuck! Fling. And there it goes. You just threw a ball of fire. You've never been this proud of yourself in your life. Aceto notes that your aim is kinda crap. McFrugal wrote, "Why don't you lick your paws and preen yourself, little kitty? That's what you should be doing after accomplishing something you're proud of, right?" What? You burned your hand. Licking it seems like the right thing to do. Talath wrote, "Put your necklace back on. Suggest to Absolute this time to start the patrol." Yeah. You really should conserve your energy for the long trip ahead. Throwing a ball of magic fire was pretty neat, but it was also dangerous. You need some fireproof gloves to protect your hands, as well as some training on how to use your abilities without relying on visceral emotional reactions. In short, you have a lot of stuff you need to get before you practice any further. You have power now. It's important that you learn to use it safely and responsibly. Yeah, right, that fireball was completely awesome. You're going to do that again. Eagle0600 wrote, "No pyromancer holds their fire. They summon and toss in one motion so as to not burn their hands. Obviously, that's going to take some practice to get perfect, but the point is to get rid of it quickly. You put your hands together and imagine another invisible ball of magicka between them. This time you try to ignite it mid-throw. You know, rather than holding the ball of fire in your hand and staring at it with a dumb look on your face. Let's see if this works." Iron Saber 48649 wrote, "Now for the ignition. Just do it, you walking flea hotel, and throw it at the apples." Total lady boner right now. Bad N wrote, "1. I can't help but notice that there are 4 more apples there. 2. I still didn't place them on the rocks for ornamental purposes. 3. One lucky shot does not make you a pro." The Codfish wrote, "Now try making a flamethrower!" Bad N wrote, "You need stupid cat puns and cat insults to power this, right? Well, I legitimately think you throw fireballs like a kitten padding around a yarn ball while high on catnip." Now wrote, "Do that again! Don't even stop to think, just cast another one, keep the flow going." Bad N wrote, "And with a tummy tum full of saucer milk, so for God's sake, light some sick fires and get some more practice already." Kylis wrote, "Now take out the boss apple." It's sweating. Oh, jeez. Okay, you exaggerated a bit on that last one. The apple actually just sort of tumbled off to the side after you hit it, but it still probably looked pretty badass. In fact, that was all pretty badass. You suspect throwing little fireballs isn't a big deal to real wizards, but you're fairly proud of this accomplishment. A few months ago, you never would have thought you could do something like this. Heck, a few days ago, you never would have thought you could do this, and it feels great. You're one step closer to leaving your old life behind. Mason the Killer wrote, "Success! This calls for a drink." It really does. Iron Saber 48649 wrote, "Okay, we have demonstrated proficiency of fire slinging, but we must continue our journey." You head back to Acetone, thank him for the encouragement. You really didn't think you had that in you, and probably would have given up without his help. He says, "You're very welcome. The Legion is always happy to provide the tools necessary for citizens to uphold justice in times of potential darkness." You guess you should probably head for Kavach now? You aren't sure how much magicka you have, but you don't want to use it all up. Acetone says there is still several minutes before you must depart, and your practice is not over yet. You have shown an admirable aptitude and enthusiasm in your delivery of justice. Now it is time for you to kill. Kill what? Excuse me? Acetone leads you down to the shore. These are mudcrabs. They are vile creatures that accost citizens regardless of criminal status. Upon sighting an innocent civilian, the ace will slowly meander towards their unwilling victim, and if unstopped, will pinch him with him or her with their claws. In addition, these beasts have committed the unforgivable crime of being mudcrabs, which is punishable by death. Doesn't sound like a real crime to you, but that still insists is in the legal books. The law serves the citizens, and the citizens hate mudcrabs. And now you must put an end to their criminal ways. While you do know that he's going to get all, while you do that, he's going to go get his horse. It rained last night, so he suspects he will have to redraw that horse's angry eyebrows. Try to take care of those criminals before he gets back. Reason with the criminals. Storm wrote, wait, this is wrong. Being a mudcrab shouldn't be a crime. Those mudcrabs can't really help the fact that they're mudcrabs. Try talking to them first and ask them to join you in fighting for burning justice. Maybe then you can prove to Acido they aren't all bad, and ask him to submit a suggestion for a change in the law to proper authorities. Poor Countess. You're pretty sure you can't reason with the mudcrabs? For one, you suck at reasoning with people in general. For two, according to the Encyclopedia of Deadly Creatures, mudcrabs can only feel hatred. You read that book front to back like a dozen times on the way to Cyrodiil. You know most of it by heart. Holy shit! See, mudcrabs are total jerks. If you absolutely have to engage them, you kinda like it to be from a safe distance, and if possible, without using up any more of your limited magicka. Arc Cruz wrote, tips the boulder you're hiding behind over and roll it towards the crabs. Jaja wrote, Katia, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Feed the poison king apple to the mudcrabs. Now that sounds doable. You lob the poison apple at the mudcrabs. Throwing actual objects turns out to be a lot different than throwing fire, but hopefully it got close enough for them to notice. Crabs love apples. At least you're pretty sure that's crabs. Okay, maybe that was some other animal that liked apples. Kajette wrote, of course that after that, what are you waiting for? You can't cast magic spells because a cat got your tongue? Or are you thinking of being a pussy and not killing a couple of worthless mudcrabs? Time for fire! It's a weak cat burn, but you think you're getting better, a bit better at working them regardless. Oh fuck, you just made it angry! The crab slowly creeps towards you, beady eye stalks filled with rage. Why is it afraid of you? You just threw fire at it! What does it know that you don't? Iron Saber 48649 wrote, make fire, Fuzzface. Contemptible Comedian wrote, murder the fuck out of them with a fireball if you catch my drift. Huh. Nothing. Nothing, apparently. It was just stupid. Hopefully nobody heard you panicking like that. I still congratulate you on your victory over the forces of injustice, but since you probably shouldn't have panicked like that, it was just a crab. Yeah, you say that was pretty pathetic. He tells you it doesn't matter anymore. Not only have you sent this ne'er-do-well back to the depths of criminal hell, but you have aided your empire and its citizens in the most important way imaginable, by preparing a suitably just breakfast for one of its noble and selfless patrolmen. Acido kneels down to check the dead mudcrab's temperature and, judging it satisfactory, harvests a bushel of crab legs. He commends you on your culinary skill. You say thanks. He also suggests you cook up the other criminal for yourself. You say you'll get right on that. You know, the culinary skill thing was probably just a joke, but it's still the nicest compliment anyone has ever given you, and it makes you a little giddy. You decide you'll pretend it's a legit praise and that you just cooked the best crab legs ever. Time to go do it again. Epoxy wrote, you seem to be getting proficient with those fireballs. All that prior practice with yarn balls probably helps. You prepare a sick cat burn and approach your target. You're Katia Manigan, fearless fire wizard and skilled seafood chef. Now that you know you can succeed, there's nothing to be afraid of. Coffee and Blick wrote, Magicka, run out when it's needed most. On second thought, one of your toasted apples is a perfectly fine breakfast. You guess all things considered, this day's off to a pretty good start. You started to make some headway in getting your powers under control, including learning roughly how to make fireballs you can conjure before running dry, or how many fireballs you can conjure before running dry. You got your best friend counting on you to deliver her letter, and another good friend helping to watch your back along the way. But best of all, you can finally feel that tiny spark of confidence rekindling itself. That little belief you had when you first landed in Cyrodiil that maybe, just maybe, everything is going to turn out okay this time. Maybe everything you try won't end in disaster after all. Truth be told, you've a really good feeling right now that there's absolutely no way this is all going to backfire disastrously. And we're going to save that meanwhile for the next episode. So, this has been Anachi Sasuke. I think this is episode 10 of Let's Read Prequel. In the next episode, we're going to check that ominous meanwhile and see what's going on. So, if you liked it, a like and subscribe will be groovy. If you didn't, you don't need to do either one of those things. And I will see y'all in the next one. Later.